I have been on a mission the last 5 years to simplify my life as much as possible. We're going to take a look back at me in my more chaotic environment 5 years ago before I had decluttered anything. Now, don't get me wrong, my house still gets messy. I have not simplified to the point where I don't clean at all. There is no maintenance. Nope. I still have a family, I still live in my space, and I still have to clean, manage, and maintain everything. But here are a few things that I've actually eliminated or stopped doing that have helped simplify my life significantly. I used to buy things just because I thought they were cute. I thought I could see the potential of the item. I could picture myself using it, and so I would buy it, bring it into my space. I also really had a weakness for buying things that were cheap or on sale or bringing free items into my home, thinking this is so useful, I will be so glad that I have this when I find myself in a pinch. Basically, so many just in case items. I've started seeing everything as something that I might potentially have to declutter later. So everything that I both own, but more specifically, things in the store, things on Facebook Marketplace, I see as future clutter or clutter today. So I just don't view my stuff the same way anymore. And I don't shop in the same way that I used to. The Minimal Mom said, I think this is a couple years back, but it really stuck with me. You get to the point after you've started simplifying and decluttering specifically, you get to the point where you actually start really disliking your possessions. The stuff that you, obviously you're always grateful, but the stuff that you once saw as necessary or that you loved or you just really adored and were so grateful you had, you now just see as another thing to clean, another thing to manage. And it is so true. Of course, we still need items. Of course, having a beautiful home can include home decor and all of that. But I think finding that balance where you're not a slave to your stuff, rather you are the one running the show. I was a slave to my stuff before, and once I realized that things that I brought into my home were things that I was going to have to continue to manage over and over again, man, it really helped me with shopping. It really helped me be more mindful. Of course, it saved me money, but it also has eliminated the need to clean for 4 hours a day or 2 hours a day or whatever it was that I used to spend. It was a lot. So I totally get this idea of both having gratitude, of course, always for your possessions, the things you have, but also being a little resentful of the stuff in your house that is robbing you of your time that you would rather be doing something else. So just like I have qualifying questions when I declutter my stuff, things like, if I saw this in the store, would I buy it today? Could I get this in 20 minutes or less for $20 or less? And have I used it in the last 6 months? I also do this kind of thing in the store. Is this something I can see myself decluttering soon? Does it have more than one purpose? Am I just buying this because I'm bored, or does this have is this going to add real value to my life? So I constantly ask myself questions and hold myself accountable both when I'm decluttering and when I am shopping, because yes, even people who simplify still bring new items into their home. I also have stopped making elaborate meals. This has cut back on, well, both dishes and ingredients that I have to have. I did not ever used to consider food items, things in the pantry or the fridge, clutter, but absolutely everything can be considered clutter. And I've learned that over the years. I keep things very, very simple. In fact, I like to have meals on rotation where we are eating the same thing pretty much every week for a month, and we will just keep those ingredients on hand. I always have a frozen rotisserie in the freezer, shredded, and I just will make things with that. So if you want to see a video on kind of how I've simplified meal routine and my cooking schedule and kind of what I have in my kitchen, I would love to do that, so let me know. But I just have stopped making elaborate meals. I actually hate doing the dishes. This is something that I've enlisted help with, and that is something that is nice about having older kids that helps you simplify. Even little kids, it's amazing what they can do to help. Having people help you. I am kind of I want it done a certain way type of person, so I get tempted to just do things myself. But enlisting the help of my family is one way that I've really helped to simplify. That also includes lowering my expectations. This is one of the best things I have ever done for myself is lower the expectations of my family, lower the expectations on myself, and just for the home in general. I like to have things pretty tidy and pretty well cleaned up, and I like to teach my kids the value of doing a good job. But I also used to be a bit of a perfectionist, and that's an understatement, honestly. And it really did stress me out. That's what I realized. It did stress my kids out. It put a lot of pressure on everybody. And I just decided that good enough was good enough. And I have been so much happier since then. I still teach my kids the value again of doing a job well done, but it's not a perfect job. My house is not perfectly clean. Even today, having simplified, having reduced so much inventory, my home is not perfect. It's not perfectly clean. There are smudges on the mirror. There are smudges on the window, crumbs on the floor. I've just decided, I'm willing to clean 30 minutes to 45 minutes a day. And after that, it's good enough. Reducing the inventory in your home, having less, decluttering often helps so much. You kind of get the best of both worlds with this. You can more easily clean. You spend less time cleaning. You can lower your expectations overall of yourself and your family and still have a generally tidy home, a pretty neat space. That was one of the unexpected benefits of decluttering, is that it just naturally took pressure off of me. And that is, in my opinion, worth it. Completely worth it. So I have lowered my expectations both mindfully and intentionally, but it's also kind of happened naturally as I've decluttered my space and things have become more manageable. Something else that I stopped doing that helped me simplify so much is turning down help. I love to accept help when I need it. Of course, I'm careful not to take advantage of people, and I like to offer help as well. But I'm very mindful of the fact that we all need help sometimes, and it's okay. It's not a sign of weakness to accept help. It's a sign of community, and when you're a part of it, when you're also willing to lend a hand, you don't have to feel guilty about accepting help from others. It's not a sign of weakness at all. We all find ourselves in those situations where we just need a little bit extra. I've never lived by my parents. We lived by my husband's parents for a year when my oldest was born, but that's it. We haven't had family nearby, so I have had moments where I have needed help and I have accepted it, and I've been so incredibly grateful. So feeling like I can do it all, I don't need the help of others, is kind of something, an old mentality. As I've kind of lowered again my expectations of myself and even what I can do, what I can accomplish on my own, I've realized no, there are points and times where accepting help is completely necessary, and you can just be so grateful and then, turn around and share and give help when you are able. Something else that I've stopped doing is comparing myself to others. It's so funny because here's this townhouse that I lived in 5 years ago, and I remember thinking, oh my goodness, if we could just get into a space with a loft, if we could just get into a place with a bigger yard, if we could just get into a place with a bigger kitchen. We were able to move, we did get a loft, we did get a yard, but I look back and I'm like, I miss that. I miss that house, I miss that place. And so not comparing yourself to where you are today and where you want to be or where you think you should be, or comparing yourself to what other people have that you feel like you want or you should have. Oh my gosh, it helps you simplify everything so much in your mind. And it just causes you to feel so content and so peaceful. Not that we shouldn't want to progress and move forward, but having just this overall sense of peace and contentment and having appreciation for where you are today. It's amazing how much the grass is not greener on the other side. We bought a home and it has come with problems, issues that I didn't have in the townhouse. And I'm like, oh my gosh, life in the townhouse was so simple. And it's just amazing how you never really get it all. Just be thankful for the time that you're in, the place you have now, the things you have now, the people you're with now. Just practicing gratitude, not comparing yourself to where you should be or where you want to be, and especially not comparing yourself to others, because you never know what other people are struggling with, what they have in their life that's difficult. See that little baby bottle on the bed? That is the sweetest thing. I miss that so much. I don't have that in my life right now. So when I was standing there wishing that I had a loft, I was missing out on appreciating the fact that I had a baby in my arms at that time. So just stop comparing yourself to others. Stop wishing away the time. Just practice gratitude wherever you are today. That goes right along with not taking time for granted as well. That's something that I've really worked on doing, is not wishing the time away, wishing for my kids to get a little bit older, a little bit more independent, wishing for the time when we don't have to buy diapers and we don't have a baby waking up crying in the night. It's funny because, like I said, I would literally give anything to go back to this exact moment in time that I'm showing you. I had 3 little kids with me, 1 a baby, and it's my favorite time of my life. Sometimes you don't even realize that you're in your favorite time until you're through it. So try not to take time for granted. Enjoy everything, every toddler tantrum. Just embrace and say, you know what, they're not going to be this little again. So anyway, I can't talk about that without crying, so let's move on. A couple other things is I don't watch TV. That's helped me simplify a lot. I will watch a show like in the evening maybe with my husband, but I don't sit down in the middle of the day during productive hours. For me, the morning is my productive time, so I don't sit down during productive hours and watch television because I get really sucked in. So I don't do that. And then I try not to buy new if I think I might be able to thrift it first. This is one reason I love Facebook Marketplace, is because I don't actually have to go into a store. I can just look online and see if I can find in my area the exact thing that I need. Here's another video on the screen of suggestions and ways to help you simplify your life. I'll meet you over there.